Shanti, how are you? Hope you are doing fine. So today we are going to see how to handle people who continuously hurt us, whether consciously or unconsciously. How do we handle them? What should we do? So that is what we are going to focus on today. So people, they are more like animals. They are more like a part of nature. For example, snake bites, dog barks. You can't change it. That's their nature. Similarly, humans, they do have their own nature. It's impossible to change their nature as quickly. So it's going to take time, and only with their willingness they can change. If they do not will to change, then it is impossible for you to change them. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. So it's better to liken people to the part of nature or to the animals. So some people tend to hurt others. That's their nature. They can't help it. They can't come out of it. They can't let anybody help them out. So what should we do? What would you do if you see a snake on your way? You will just stop by till it crosses, or you will just take another way around the snake, right? You need to apply the same procedure while you are encountering person who has this tendency to hurt others. You just have to step back. You just have to wait till they complete the hurting procedure. Then you proceed, because you have nothing to that. You need not worry about it, because it's their problem. Why should you worry about over someone's weakness? Okay, it is their weakness. They don't understand that. You can help them out, but you can't take it. You can't feel for that. And what would you do if it rains suddenly? You will take shelter in some place till the rain stops, right? Similarly, you need to take shelter in a position away from the person who is hurting. So if it's possible, you can stay away from them. At least you can hide your face from them, because some people tend to get angry on just seeing people's faces. But another question arises: what if it happens to be someone whom we live with, like your spouse, like your parents, like your teachers? So there is no escape away from them, right? So for that, first we need to understand that it is their nature. You just can't change it. Just accept it. By accepting it, you don't let their hurting behavior to hurt you, and you don't respond to it negatively by attacking them back, because if you do that, it means you have lost control of yourself. Then what happens gradually is you develop that tendency to hurt them back, which you will do it eventually with everybody around you. So you will become a victim to that hurting behavior. Then all along your life, you will start hurting everybody just like them. So it is a disease. It is a communicable disease. What would we do to protect us from communicable disease? We will distance ourselves from the person affected, right? Similarly, here we have to distance ourselves, at least intellectually, if it's not possible physically. So if you can distance yourself physically, it's very good. But in case you can't, like in case of teacher, you need to be in the class, right? So you have to apply this formula that they cannot be changed. It is their weakness. I need not worry about that. So if there is any valuable message, just take the message, and don't take the manner with which they convey that message, because it obviously means that they lack the soft skill of communicating it in a better manner. And when you encounter somebody who is having this hurting behavior, it obviously means they lack the sense of control over their attitude, right? So it means they are actually begging for help. So they don't have that control. They want somebody to donate them with the ability to have control over their mind. So how do we donate? So what they lack is the lack of love, lack of peace. So we need to donate them. So we need to be extra loving to the person who has this hurting behavior. Especially when they hurt you, it means they are totally depleted out of the love. So you need to fill them with love. You need to take extra care to fill them with extra love. I know it's difficult in the beginning, but you have to practice it. First, it could be some sort of formal love, like usually people, when they hurt us, we would immediately say thanks, right? So that was what we used to follow. But nowadays it's changing. If they hurt you, we hurt them back more intensely. That's the kind of attitude people of this generation has developed. But when you hurt them back, you may think that it's going to calm them down. It may work at some point, but what happens is they don't calm down at the mental level. Maybe in the physical level they may calm down, but within themselves they will be burning within. So that's going to create a huge damage for their health. So that's a great sin. Not only that, the vibration, they send very strong negative vibration towards you, that's going to take your peace out of you. So you will feel restless. You wouldn't even know that it is their thought that is actually attacking you. So calming them down by hurting them back is not a good idea. It's the worst way of handling that, but unfortunately that's the only way people are using nowadays. But instead, as I said earlier, if you speak with them with more love even after they hurt you, so that's going to bring them back to consciousness. So they will start thinking gradually that how is it possible for this particular person to behave so lovingly no matter how hard I hurt him. So he's going to have that thought. So that's going to help him regain the normal status. But to do that, you need to have a very strong control over your emotions and your mind. So for that, you need to keep on saying to yourself that it is their attitude, we can't change, and I need not take it. And you can say, you can treat them just like a patient. So that's a kind of disease where people just keep on shouting at others. So that's the disease. We need to handle them lovingly. So they are under the external influence. But to handle them, you shouldn't be influenced by their attitude. So that is why you keep on telling yourself that they are just like that. So they are inferior to you. Who is inferior to you? Whoever gets angry, they are inferior to you. And why are you superior to them? Because you don't get angry. You don't get angry even when somebody hurt you. That is why you are superior. So it is very important to consider yourself superior than everybody with the reason. So you are superior to everybody because you are so loving. You are superior in loving even those who hurt you. That is why you are superior. So you should develop this attitude. So you need to keep on repeating this to yourself throughout the day as much as possible, so that it becomes your natural character to be only loving to everybody, no matter if they love you back or if they hurt you. It doesn't matter. Your loving nature just doesn't change. You need to pay attention to only to your attitude and not to others' attitude, because it is Kali Yuga. We are reaching the end of the world. So people will commit more and more sins because they can't help it, because they are not aware of it. They think it is natural to hurt others, to get the work done. But once you develop that habit, then you will take that habit with you all the time. You will reveal that habit in your family, with your colleagues, with everybody you encounter. So not everybody is going to treat you lovingly, right? So they are going to hurt you back. Then you will be into more depression. You may even become mentally unstable permanently. So you have to take care every second that you shouldn't come down from your superior state of love and affection. No matter how angry a person can get, even that person, when he wake up from bed, he wouldn't be angry. He would be very loving. But as time passes, he may get angry at some particular incident, or he may be angered by someone. So if he has controlled anger at that particular point, then he can continue that loving behavior more. But since he failed in that first encounter, that's why he fails in the subsequent circumstances. So the real challenge is we should not fail in the first step. So you have to take it as a sport. You can give yourself a mark. Maybe you can give you 10 mark. So whenever you encounter a situation that's going to provoke you, if you can recollect all these points, that it is their nature, I need to be extra loving, I shouldn't take it. So if you can recollect all these 3 points, just the second when you encounter that provoking situation, then you have paused. So you can credit yourself with 10 marks. So in case you have forgotten that, then you have reacted negatively, then it would be 0. So if you can handle it very nicely, but still you have forgotten those 3 points, then it should be some 8 or 7. So you can credit yourself marks accordingly. So you can say, you can give yourself marks every 1 hour, so that you have constant attention towards your mind. So towards the end of the day, you can see how many marks you have got, how many instances you have failed, so that you can take extra care the next day. So this feels like a game. So this is going to be very interesting game. So you have to take life as a sport. You have heard it, right? So this is how you take life as a sport. And one thing to remember is we all will be peaceful in the early morning. So that is why people ask you to meditate in the early morning, where we can save the peace energy. So the more you save the peace energy in the early morning, so that's going to help you throughout the day. So only when you lose the peace energy, then you fall prey to these provoking situations and start reacting negatively. So only way to save the peace energy is to meditate on God. So God is actually a point of light in the supreme abode that's above. So we are here in this physical world. Above this there is a subtle world, and even above that there is this incorporeal world where God is there as a point of light. Not only God, even we souls before taking birth here were as a point of light here in this supreme abode. So it can also be called the soul world. So we come here and take birth in heaven. Yes, the world was heaven in the beginning. So for the first 2500 years it's heaven. So for the next 2500 years it has slowly become hell. Now we are living in hell, which is why we are surrounded by negative people who are actually causing us sorrow. So once we have this knowledge, once we are aware that we are surrounded by negative people who have lost their consciousness, we wouldn't react with them, and we would consider them as inferior because they are unconscious. So we have to remain conscious so that we can enable them to regain their consciousness as well. So for that, no matter what they do, your reaction should be very positive, which means you don't lose your original nature of being lovely and peacefully. Yes, that's your original nature. See, for instance, when you wake up, you are peaceful and you are so lovely. So you become angry only after you encounter certain situation, which means somebody else is making you angry. That's not your original character. You have to understand that your original nature will never cause you or others pain or sorrow. So if it is causing you or others pain and sorrow, it obviously means you have imbibed that character from the external world. That's not yours. Why do you want to imbibe something that's going to hurt you so bad? So also when you hurt others, they're going to curse you. That's going to affect your life. But instead, if somebody is hurting you, but instead of hurting them back, if you behave very lovingly, what do you get? The blessings. So that's going to help you both spiritually and health-wise. If you succeed in behaving lovingly to those who hurt you in your workplace, then it is you undoubtedly the most favorite person in your office. It is you undoubtedly the most favorite person in your family. And also you are the most loved person in your friend circle. So everybody is willing to help you in whatever you want to do because you are loving. So you have this much to gain. Then why should we lose all these things just because we have no control over our attitude? So we should not lose our coolness. We should always stay cool no matter what happens around. So for that we have to consider ourselves to be this soul. Soul is a point of light in between the eyebrows, which is why Hindus used to wear a red dot here. So that is us. We are not this perishable body. And you know what? The nature of that soul itself is peace and bliss. So just because we forget that we are souls, we tend to have this negative character like getting angry, getting lustful, and so on. So this is how we meditate. We have to consider ourselves as a point of light, that is the soul. Then we have to remember God also as a point of light. So the more you remember God, you will get a strange sensation in between your eyebrows, which means God is filling us with the power. So the more power we accumulate by remembering God, we can find ourselves getting rid of these negative emotions like lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. So as a result, you will be always blissful and peaceful, and you will be passing the same trait to your fellow members. As a result, you will be surrounded by positive people because that positivity is passed to them from you. So no matter how negative people are around you, you have to be very determined that you will never become negative, that you will always be positive. And also by positive I mean you are always loving and peaceful to everybody. So it is the land of Satan. So Satan's work is to make you suffer pain and sorrow, and by making you feel angry, lustful and egoistic. So you should not fall prey to that. So you have to hold on to God. How do you do that? You just remember God as a point of light, and that's not enough. You also have to listen to the discourses by God. He has come to the world in person. So you can go to any nearest Brahma Kumari center and you can listen to Murli. So that's the direct knowledge of God. The more you listen to Murli, more your character will change very positive. You will become a very loving person. And the core of his teachings is to remember him as a point of light. Why does he teach that? Because we are towards the end of the world. The world will be destroyed soon by the Third World War and natural disasters, but our souls, they are imperishable. They cannot be destroyed. So what will happen is we leave our bodies and we will go back to our sweet home from where we came in the beginning. So this is to the soul world. So from there we will come back to heaven, because the world was heaven in the beginning and it has become hell just because we started developing these negative emotions like lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego. But while we were in heaven, we didn't have these negative emotions because we considered ourselves to be the point of light, and we would see everybody as a point of light in between the eyebrows. We wouldn't be attracted towards their physical beauty, so we wouldn't fall for lust. So if we don't fall for lust, then we wouldn't have anger, greed, attachment and ego. That is why we were very loving. Not only we, but also the animals around us would be so loving. For example, lion and goat, they will have water together in the same pond at the same time. So that is also mentioned in all religious texts. So that was heaven, and we were here. The same planet Earth was heaven in the beginning, and it's going to change into heaven very time soon, because it's a cycle. This is called a 5,000 year time cycle called kalpa. Whatever happens in one kalpa, that's going to repeat kalpa after kalpa. To understand it very easily, if you are watching this video, it obviously means that you have watched this video 5,000 years back on the very same day. So that's the same thing you are going to repeat every 5,000 years on the very same day. Okay, if you like this video, please do like this video and leave your valuable comments, and share this video with your friends and family members. And also, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe immediately and hit the notification bell followed by the option all, so that you will be notified for our future videos immediately. Thanks for watching for this long, and we will meet with a very important video very time soon. Thank you.